It's a lovely February evening. Well, late afternoon. It's just 10 to 4. Yesterday these moors were covered in snow. Today it's a lovely hazy liquid light. I love it up here because it's quiet. Just the sound of grouse. Let's just get the other dog in. We're going to be moving now. But it's just nice. It's a good place to relax. Tucker, come here. Good boy. Come on. The dogs love it up here. They just sort of stand and look. It's almost as if they know. It's almost a spiritual quality. I don't know what it is they see. They just must feel comfortable. Anyway, enough of the waffle. Here's a couple of little films for you on how to take cuttings. This is a Japanese plant, Kirengeshoma palmata. Look it up on the internet. It's lovely. But this is a good way, if you have a clump of it, it's a good way of dividing it. One of the plants that we can propagate in the spring is Kirengeshoma palmata. And Thomas is about to give you a demonstration of a simple way of propagating it from basal cuttings.
Yeah, it's worth saying that we think this is going to work. We've never done this before. So this is just really acting as a trial. I mean, we have plenty in the border here. I mean, you can see this over here, this mossy bit is the old clump, and it's off starting to spread right the way around here. We've nibbled off these old side bits. I mean, they're just going to encroach on the path anyway, so we thought we might as well have them. And all you do is stick your knife and you can feel it go through, almost like the crown, this cork here. That's what you're almost like looking, that's what we're slicing through there. And just stick your knife in and just keep lifting it ever so slightly up. Then you can see there I'm getting a good clump coming loose. Get my hands in under. There we go. Now I'll need to do that one. Get rid of that old cork, but actually a bit going to come away with that nicely. You can see there, and I don't want any of this old because that's not going to regenerate. That's just old cork. That, get rid of that. Then what you want to do is you want to leave as much soil on it as possible. You can see young little bits of root come in there, so you just need to pot that up, put it in shade, and they should break. Now we'll break these ones off too. You can see there. And we're not going to get greedy, we're going to leave, because even if that one does fail, we've got this little secondary little shoot here coming. Again, break off some of that cork, and I'll get potted up nicely. Just need to prise them apart. You may even need to use your secateurs at some point. I might just use them here. Just slice through there. We'll go on that bit to come off. You can see there 2 dormant buds that were beneath the surface. And potting that up, that's going to encourage these 2 to start to break. They are 2 dormant buds, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll probably be next year's growth.
I would be tempted. I mean, these buds here, they've actually got some root around them, so I'd be tempted to cut that bugger in the middle there.
Right.
And then put... That's it. I thought you said you weren't going to be greedy.
No, well, I'm doing a Malcolm Hockham. There we go. And obviously that's just going to be awkward to stick into a pot, so just have that off there. There we go.
Now, if you haven't seen Kirengeshoma before, it's a Japanese plant, and it's yellow waxy bells later. Well, the sort. What would you call them? Would you say they were bells?
Yeah, well that's its name, isn't it? Yellow wax bells.
Is it?
Yeah, it's its common name.
Well, I didn't know that.
Any more?
That there is Burgundy Beast. As Thomas here has christened it. Burgundy Beast. So, we'll do the next stage in a minute. This is a lovely way of growing apple trees. I sometimes do this. This is called a festoon. And it doesn't really matter what stock. I would go for a 106 stock, something that grows about 12 feet and keep it pruned, because you get the vigour. Because if you use a dwarf stock, you don't get the vigour to train the arches. And all it is a system of arches pulled over. You see this? And eventually these will graft into each other themselves. You can just, if I can just pull this away, you can see. I need to pull these leaves off to get them. There.
Right, and once you've collected all your stock, it is time to pot them all up. So I've got one of the typical pieces whale pot up here, and you can see it's got two nice little dormant buds there. So even if this main stem does like die off, which I mean it's fairly likely that it might just get a bit of rotten or something, it's got these two to take its place. Then just a question of getting your pot, give them a nice tamp down. I'm trying to leave those little two bits just poking through there. So you can see they're still there, and I'll just stick them with the others, the other 54 that we've done.
So 54, we'll be able to work out a percentage of failure on that, won't we?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these ones here, we might show you, we'll see how these take. In the summer, might show you as an experiment. We did some cuttings as well, and some divisions of a plant in pot, and these are them. I did 30 cuttings and I got 6. So they're not exactly the most...
But for the home gardener, only
yeah,
one or two.
yeah, it's
okay.
Kirengeshoma is just one of those plants that it's hard to do on a nursery scale, where you turn 1 into 20, like you can with your astrantias and your various grasses and everything.
Yeah, Thomas, so we don't want to be telling people that. They'll be thinking we're capitalists.
Same thing.
Right, and then what? Let's take them away. Right, one of the things you can do is root cuttings. Now you would have had some nice poppy root cuttings, but I had a problem with the camera and I lost all the material on it.
You mean deleted?
Deleted. Yes. Never mind. Let's go show you this. This is a golden hop, and this is a prime example of how you can do root cuttings. You see? There. It's probably easier to use secateurs, and you just cut them off. Lengths of root. Now it's very important with root cuttings, you know which end is up. So you put a straight cut across the bottom and a slanted one at the bottom, so you've always got the point. I always try and remember in my mind that the point goes into the soil, and that's all there is to it. This is another root, so we'll make another pointed cut there and a flat one across the top. Just clean that up. Making the right bollocks of this.
You want some sharp secateurs?
There we are. My secateurs have been doing a lot of work, so they're a little bit blunt. Try and use nice sharp ones.
Preferably a scalpel would be good.
Scalpel is excellent. And then that one across there. It's really important you know which end is up on root cuttings. They're quite simple to do. take these over further up the potting shed. You just want a small pot and just poke them in. You want the top of the cut-in to be roughly level with the soil surface. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit below. And just poke them in. Can you get that, Thomas?
Yep.
And then we'll just fill that up. Now, what you can do then is get just a little bit of grit on the top. I hope you're not, your hand is shaking. I think young men suffer from shaking hand syndrome. Usually first
Don't
thing
be
in the morning.
inappropriate.
First thing in the morning, shaking hand syndrome. Come on.
We are past that now, you've got arthritis. I'm joking.
So we'll put this, we will label it and water it in, and here are some poppies that were filmed before. You can see they're just starting to break through. The roots are in there, see the old roots, and this is one that's already started into growth. So it's a very effective way of propagating plants that have thick roots, that, you know, plants, perennials that don't divide, or as in the case of this, the golden hop. We'll look at them again later on. Come on, Thomas, turn the bugger off.
The root cuttings have taken. We're on about 5 or 6 weeks later now. Exactly what you want. Now we can just divide down that pot and pot them on individually. Perfect cuttings.
Now all you need to do is give them, as you've seen, I've given them light water, then we'll put them in this shaded building, because they are a woodlander from China, so they're best in shade, and just while they're rooting in, so they don't dry out. I'm sticking them at the back here, so no customers can get the grubby mitts on them until they're worth at least £7.
Capitalist, told you. Capitalist and a northerner.
Robin.
So, 10 months later, we'll now see how the efforts of Thomas's Kirengeshoma have taken.
Yeah, as you can see, we've got one of the plants that we dug up in the spring last year, and you can see the growth it had on. It's obviously died back. They put on a lot of growth after they were dug up. But obviously, as it is, it would have been a spindly plant this year, but we're not interested in what it did this year. Well, last year now. We're interested in what it does this year. And you can see here, they've all done really quite well. You can see a lot of fresh, thicker roots there, and a lot of fresh fibrous roots as well.
That's really good. Pleased with that.
And as you can see as well, if Malcolm can pick up on his camera, it's got, you see just where my glove is, the little bits of pink coming there are going to be this year's growth there, some of the basal buds.
See if I can get in closer on
Yeah.
those. They're the important thing here. It's these new shoots that are going to make the leaf and the stems for this coming year.
And there's another thicker one there as well.
Yeah,
You can just see they're just poking through at the moment.
that's not as thick as your pinky.
No, that's not as thick as my pinky.
Your winky?
Pinky.
Oh.
Well, in the first year being propagated, we're not interested what they do on top. We just want them to have as much leaf as possible to feed the plant for the roots. because we want to get that into a bigger pot, maybe probably 1.5 litre, and then we can sell it.
Yeah.
We want it just in a 1.5 litre so you can get a nice full root ball as well, because there's something Kirengeshoma, they're quite slow to establish being propagated like this. So obviously, as you can see, they propagate from one single stem. That'll probably end up throwing maybe 2, 3, 4 buds for next year in the 1.5 litre. Then the year after that, you'll be getting on for even more growth and even nicer plant.
It's a very effective way of doing it because it's not commonly known, and it was a bit of a trial, wasn't it, really?
Yeah,
because
we've never really propagated it ourselves before.
Nobody says you can really divide Kirengeshoma.
Yeah, that's an even stronger plant. See there, the roots on that. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of fibrous roots on there.
Yeah, it's good.
Main roots
It
as
is a
well.
lovely plant. Don't want trouble. What are you doing? What are you eating? Say hello. Say hello to people. Come on. What's in there? Wait, what's in there? What's in there? Nice. What is it? Like, look at it. That is in the cupboard. Like, what? Look at it. Look. What is that? It's fucking horrible.
Is it your
I think
missing testicle?
If I had a testicle like that, I'd be glad it was missing. Look, it's got bloody mould on it. It's blue. It's quite. Oh, it's the bugger's smoking.
It's turned your fingers blue now.
Oh, Tucker, don't eat that. You dirty bastard. Go on, bugger off.
That's why you'd end up with blue fingers if you dealt with blue waffle. Google that.
That is disgusting. Yorkshire, you see. Yorkshire woman. Don't throw anything away. Dirty.